Put the kids to bed. The dads are back in town. It's us, the Dad World Order. We are the dWo podcast. I am the one, the only, Mr. Magnificent Mike Martin. With me, as always, my esteemed colleagues, Eric Big Rig Maffey, woo, woo, and the Bluegrass Bomber, Mr. Brando. All right,
What's
guys.
going on, everybody?
Special night tonight, guys. We welcome our first guest to the dWo podcast. He is the World Heavyweight Champion of Northern Wrestling Federation. He is the one, the only Star Rider.
Hey, what's going on?
What's up, champ?
How you guys doing?
All right,
man.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for doing this, man. This is great.
Oh, thanks
so surreal. All right, man. I got a ton of questions. Did a little homework.
All right.
So I got to see Summer Sizzler and a little bit of the build up to it. I took some great videos, by the way. There's a cool slow-mo video I took. Check that out on Twitter. But anyway, you made Hollywood Swayze a little bit lighter that night, and it was good to see, because anytime you can smack the smug look on his face off is a good thing.
Oh, I love smacking the smug look you got, man.
He wears it so well.
He does.
I guess we'll start. Man, how long have you been in the business?
It's about 6 years now. Right around Summer Sizzler Fan Fest, it was around my 6-year anniversary. So it was a pretty special moment, 6-year anniversary, and being able to main event Fan Fest, our biggest event of the year, and win the NWF title. Man, I couldn't ask for a better anniversary gift right there.
Yeah, and that was a packed house that night. The crowd was electric, and man, that card was awesome. But yeah, that was cool to see. I remember them talking about the 6-year build up to that match. So where'd you get your start at? What kind of training or school did you go through?
The NWF, that's where I was started and trained.
Okay.
By Roger Ruffin, and then Pompano Joe is one of our trainers now, along with the Swinger, and sometimes I'm fortunate enough to be able to help have a hand in training some of our younger guys too. So yeah, WF talent.
I love the Swinger, man. He's one of my favorites, man.
Oh,
we want to see him face Dan the Dad. I've been trying to troll Dan the Dad
so
to get him to respond, but we're working on that.
Hey, that's right there. Let's bring it on.
Those two shticks would just play off each other so well.
Oh, they would. Aside for a night, they can have the main event if they want.
No way, man. No way. The champ gets the main event. Everybody knows.
Right.
Okay.
Me and Mike did get to witness Dan the Dad and Jake the Man Scout Manning team up at a Wrestling Revolver show, and that was pretty surreal. So I could just any of those guys coming into NWF would make me very happy.
Hopefully we can do it one day. That'd be awesome.
That would be cool.
You spent some time down in OVW?
I did. I was down there for a little bit. I was their Rush Division champion on 2 separate occasions. I did a lot of different type of matches down there. Last Man Standing, 30-minute Iron Man, 2 out of 3 falls, and the first ever scaffold match in OVW history back in March.
I bet that left a mark.
So I have to, because like I said, I'm nerding out right now. I'm so professional wrestler, and he's the champion. So it's like, oh my God, finally. Can you just answer, I know everyone says it's fake, but there's some stuff you can't fake. You have to learn you have to be taught how to land. You have to be taught how to do things. It's not fake. The pain's real. There's certain things that can't be fake.
You can't say the F word, first of all.
But no, it's not fake at all. I hate when people automatically assume that that's what it is, and it's 100% not. Until you've stepped foot into a professional wrestling ring and you've taken a bump, then I don't really think that you should have the nerve to call it fake, because I don't, go out and trash professional football or say somebody sucks when I'm not a professional football player. Like, I just think you have to respect it, and it's not fake at all. Like, the bumps hurt, the ropes hurt, everything we do hurts. So
yeah, I remember watching like some of the original Tough Enough and then just running the ropes and then having to get callous to that because that's just, I mean, people don't realize that's just duct tape steel cable.
No,
and,
yeah.
I mean, it's just pulled taut to where, you know, it's elastic. I mean, everything hurts. It's like, you know, I say it's got to be like getting a tattoo. It's like, you know, every one of them hurts just a little bit, some worse than the others. But I mean, that's got to be what bumps are like. But I can't say I've never taken a bump yet.
Oh, well, I can assure you that the bumps are 100% real. That ring, there's no spring, there's no trampoline under there. There's a lot of metal and wood, very small pads under there. The ropes hurt. And, like, yeah, the Tough Enough thing, that's 100% true. Like, when you start hitting the ropes for your first couple of days, you just have marks all up and down your back, butt, and your leg. And, like, it's very, very tough to get accustomed to. And it sounds weird to say, but now, after doing it for so long and taking so many risks, like, my body is accustomed to it at this point.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, just seeing you after the match the other night, I mean, the chops you took, I mean, your chest was all lit up. And I mean, it's just, you know, then we'll see you the following week and it's like gone. It's like, oh my God, I feel like I'd be a broken man after some shots like that.
Oh yeah. I got 2 black eyes last weekend. Friday night, I was down in North Carolina. I had a little bit of a black eye on my right side, and then Russ, when he gave me that boot on the apron, left a pretty nasty scar that I'm still carrying right now. So,
well, I actually, when we saw you that night, my daughter even said, she was like, "Does he know his eye's bleeding?" Like, you had kind of like a bloodshot eye going. And I was like, yeah, he'll probably figure it out here in a minute. I mean, we saw all the, I mean, you had freaking chop bruises and everything else. Like,
Speaking of that, though, I have a friend that used to attend the wrestling school, and he said they used to do NWF used to do a fantasy camp. Do you know they still do anything like that?
I know we used to. When I first started, I think we've done about 2 or 3 of them, and I think obviously with the pandemic a couple years ago, we kind of had to halt our shows.
Snuffed it out.
So that sucked. But hopefully we get to do that again at some point. It was always fun. We would have I think it was 5 to 17-year-olds were all together for a couple hours, and then we'd have 18 and up come in for a few hours too. So yeah, hopefully we get to do that soon in the near future. It was always a blast to do the fantasy camps and be a part of it.
Yeah, that's absolutely be something awesome. You know,
I would love to do it.
All right, beat me up. Let's do it.
It's
just to say I did it.
So very quick crash course on how to become a professional wrestler in one day, pretty much.
I think it'd be incredible. Yeah, I mean, it'd probably hurt. I know I'd be hating myself the next week.
Oh,
or so,
yeah, by far. How they do it? Ow, no, somebody give me out. But holy crap, I finally took a bump. Like, it was,
yeah, you get to walk around and say you took a bump in a professional wrestling. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that's on my bucket list, dude. It's right up there with the WrestleMania, ringside for AEW event.
Possibly build up to put me through a table, just so I can say I can go through a table.
I don't know if you want to go through a table, man. I've gone through a couple of those. They're definitely not fun.
Oh my God, we were at Wrestling Revolver up in Dayton, and they were using doors or something.
Oh yeah,
and they were not breaking at all. Those poor guys, man.
No,
that's got to be worse, right? When it doesn't break.
That's the worst part. When I was down in OVW, I was wrestling Gustavo, a very close friend of mine, and he was going to put me through a table, and the table just did not break. So all my ribs were broken. It just knocked the wind completely out of it. It's so much worse when the table doesn't break.
Right, because it just stops your momentum like right now instead of falling with it.
Like those like the New Japan tables. If you ever watch a New Japan show, 9 maybe 8 times out of 10 they go through a table, or they don't actually go through the table. They just land on it and fall off, and it looks brutal.
I don't ever go through a table if I was ever had the chance to wrestle for New Japan, man. Those tables are just way too stiff.
They like, I don't think that, like, they just, I don't know if they do it on purpose or like they just don't want to buy rickety
They
tables?
bought
or what?
American-made tables.
They reinforced them or something, but like
Made in the USA, buddy.
Yeah.
I watched. I'm pretty sure it was in one of those like Omega Okada matches where like they tried to put each other through tables like 3 or 4 times. One of their like hour-long matches, and they didn't go through any of them. And I'm just like, oh my god, it hurts so bad just to watch.
You got to travel at all for wrestling? I mean, you got to go overseas or anything like cool like that yet?
No, not yet. That is on my that's on my list. I'd love to be able to do like a tour of like Mexico, Europe, Australia. So that stuff's on my bucket list. I've only been up and down on the East Coast a lot, like a lot of times down to North, South Carolina, Chicago. So I'm trying to get out there a little bit more, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully in the future.
I would figure with your kind of your style. Sorry, drew a blank there. With your style, you would definitely get over in like a Mexico faction or something like that. I mean, it's.
Oh, yeah, I would try to definitely. Like I said, it's just so hard because I'm working on getting my passport right now, so I can't even get into Canada or do any tours right now. But I'm in the process of getting my passport just in case the opportunity does come a knock, and I don't want to have to pass it up, and for that horrible of a reason. So hopefully,
right.
Crossed, I get to do something Mexico, Canada, overseas. I'd love to do something like that soon.
So how? I mean, I understand like you have like bookers that like reach out to you and stuff like that. How does it work in terms of like the bigger companies, like the Impacts, AEWs, whatever of the world? Like I know AEW has had, or not AEW, WWE has had like open tryouts and stuff like that. Is that something where like you send like tapes in to them, or is it just hope that somebody contacts you at some point somewhere, or how does that work?
So I know for like WWE, like if they do have an open tryout, I believe you have to like go on their website and like apply for it, and then obviously if you're doing travel and everything. I think they just had a tryout over SummerSlam weekend, but I think that was invite only, and I don't think they do a whole lot of open tryouts. So I got my eyes on the lookout, and I got a lot of people looking out for me to let me know when the next time they have an open tryout is. And I don't think AEW does any tryout stuff. I think you just kind of have to maybe like get your own buzz and just hope that someone in the right place, you're just in the right place at the right time to get in contact with them. And I'm not too sure about Impact either. I think it's kind of the same thing. You kind of just have to be in like the right place at the right time, because those places probably get thousands and thousands of emails a day saying, "Hey,
right,
look at that." So look at all that kind of stuff.
Well, I mean, AEW has featured I know Lord Cruz on there, and Nikki Victory has been on some Dark Elevation matches. I mean, is that something where somebody just reaches out to them, they know somebody, or you just luck of the draw?
I think it's a little bit of both. I'm not too sure about Crew. I think he might have a few connections in AEW. I'm not too sure, so don't quote me on that. But I think Nikki sent her stuff in, if I'm not mistaken, and they got back to her. So I think she kind of got the look of the draw. They've been bringing her in for the last few weeks, man, and I'm so proud of her. I'm so happy.
She got to go up against Serena Deeb. I was like, wow, man, that's a good match. It's against the Professor. But I mean, it's cool for me because, now being an NWF fan and seeing the people I get to see, on my home turf, and all I get to see on my shows I watch every week, that's really awesome for me. It's just an added element to my fandom.
Like I said, I'm so happy for her, man. She's probably my best friend on this earth. So to be able to see her, see when she came in and where she first started, and see the leaps and bounds she's came, and the professional wrestler she's become, and to get these opportunities, man, I couldn't be more happy and proud of her.
That's great. It really does seem like all you guys really support one another. I mean, just from what I've seen, the kind of camaraderie, outside of the story and whatnot. But that's really cool to see, and that's that makes a workplace a lot better place to be.
Oh yeah, for sure, because we spend more time with each other, it feels like, than with our own families, because training, then having shows, throughout the week, once or twice a week or whatever, and then just being on the road myself. So like, you become super close with these guys, and for me personally, I want nothing but success for all my friends in this business. So hopefully one day we all get that opportunity to shine on a bigger stage.
Mhm.
Can I say something? Whenever you do your heel turn, it's going to be wonderful because you're such a positive, nice guy. That when you eventually make that turn, it's just going to be epic.
My OVW stuff about 6 or 8 months ago when I turned heel, man, I had a blast being a heel down there. It was completely different and out of my element. I wasn't comfortable with it, but it was something that I wanted to do, and I had to completely bring up myself. And then they finally pulled the trigger on it, and I had a blast doing it, man. It was so cool, so different, and because you don't see a lot of heel masked wrestlers in America, it seems like.
No.
Right.
So I thought it was going to be very, very tough, especially with the way my style is, a lot of high line and dives and stuff. I had to tone all that back, and it forced me to reach down deeper and find like who my character really is. So it was a blast, man. I had a lot of fun doing it, just going out there and making fun of myself with the crowd. It was a lot.
I gotta say, I love heels. So you'll see me at a show. I'm cheering both sides, man, because I mean, I appreciate a good heel. You know what I mean? I know that it takes a good heel to make a good story, and NWF's got some really good heels. I gotta say that. So there's some stiff competition out there for you.
Man, I need the stiff competition, whether it's a heel, babyface, man. Like I love the fact that like Rex on the role he's been on, and with Andrew Reed coming over to the babyface side, man, it's not going to be easy, and that's what I like. Like I like the competition, the friendly competition, and pushing each other to be better. Because if we do that, then we're all going to be better, ourselves. The event itself's going to be that much better with the friendly competition. So I'm excited, man. It's a great time to be in the NWF right now. It's a great time.
I think it's a great time to just be in professional wrestling in general right now. I mean, the hype is back. I mean, there's actually 2, plus major shows on right now, and they're feeding competition in one another. So I feel like that's kind of like trickling down, and everybody's kind of getting to eat a little more now because, of said scene success with these, companies.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like for the longest time, it was just like WWE and then Impact and then New Japan. So now with AEW coming onto the scene and kind of opening up the door with Ring of Honor too. Like I loved Ring of Honor so much. So many great talents have came from Ring of Honor and New Japan and overseas. So I'm glad that there's so many different places right now for people to get work and just so much wrestling to watch. Just, you can have a little bit of WWE and AEW. So I think it's a great time. I love it's like you said, it's a great time to be a fan of professional wrestling right now.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah. Ring of Honor used to be I caught a show way back in the day when Samoa Joe and AJ Styles were there, and the little hall up in Dayton, and it was just absolutely great. And I'm so glad that, that's a lot of those characters are brought back to light, and that organization is getting some love as well.
I think I went to one Ring of Honor show, and it was Kevin Owens, I think last night with Ring of Honor, or second time.
Oh, wow.
Taft Theater down in Cincinnati. I was able to catch.
Wow.
Oh, Kevin Steen.
El Generico.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I can't remember if Sammy was still there or not. I remember Kevin Owens. I think he hung, if I'm not mistaken, in like a hardcore street fight. I think the brisket there, man. It was a great time. I loved being able to see Ring of Honor and cross that off my bucket list, being able to see them live.
Yeah. I mean, that was kind of my first experience with indie wrestling. And I mean, that was just eye-opening, to be kind of like really immersed, and you're there and it's in your face. And I mean, it's such a different experience. And I mean, I talked, that I've kind of found the itch again, man. I've been just telling everybody that I can about it. I mean, it's wonderful experience.
Move hell or high water. I'm coming next one. Oh man,
you better.
October 1st, Star Rider versus Adam Swayze again. He just can't get enough of you.
I never seem to escape Adam. I've been wrestling him like for 6 years, like
Well, that's why it works, though, man. That's you guys know each other so well. It's always something you got to come up with something different, to get over.
Exactly. And like I said, he's not a huge fan of mine because I've beaten him for almost every championship the NWF has. I beat him for the championship a few years ago. I beat him for the tag team championship a couple years ago, and then beat him for the NWF title. So I don't think I'm too high on Adam's list when he has a championship. Doesn't seem like I'm too far around the corner to snag it from him.
Kind of a thorn in the guy's side a little bit.
I mean, a little bit. He's kind of sick and tired of having a championship just because he knows I'm not too far behind him.
Right.
But trying to
Did you drop a that's a cut on him in the promo the other night too?
I think so. Yeah, when I
stole this tagline.
like that's a cut or that's a rap or something.
Yeah, that's a rap. That's what it was.
I always try to use that on him or Gideon if I can. So
that's good stuff, man.
But to Mike's point of him loving heels, we had I believe it was Sean Evans that night steal his son's friend's cotton candy, and it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my entire life. Just the look on that kid's face.
Crying.
Oh, it was so funny. He couldn't believe that he actually stole his cotton candy, and I'm like, dude, what'd you expect? What do you think was going to happen?
The bad guys do.
What, you think he's going to give you a high five?
He just jumped the tag team champs behind their backs. Stealing candy from a baby.
It's that easy. It's that easy.
And that was his first show too, which made it even better. Just totally immersing him in everything. Like, all right, you wanna try to shake hands with the biggest heel in the company? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, well, that works out for you.
Right.
All right, some couple quick fire questions for you. Who would you say was your biggest inspiration as a wrestler?
Growing up, I have a couple. It was Rey Mysterio was the first guy I ever saw on TV. I think I was like 5 years old. I was watching TV with my uncle, and he's like flipping through the channels, and I see this guy wearing a mask like shoot up from under the ground, and I was like, "Whoa, stop that! I want to see what this." And then I remember seeing like a vignette for Jeff Hardy when he was coming back to WWE back in like 2006. And then he comes out with this cool music. His hair's 1,000 different colors, and he's got like this long sleeve shirt that's all cut up. So I remember coming home from school the next day. I had my long sleeve red Under Armour shirt, and I cut it up just like he did. And I remember my mom and dad were not happy with me that I just cut it. They're like, "Son, the guy on TV did it last night, and he started doing the jukes." I'm walking around.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, those are two like real big inspirations to get into professional wrestling.
I see shades of that in your style too, though. So that definitely makes sense.
Oh yeah. So where the mask is, I love wearing the mask because of Ray, and then obviously with Jeff being the risk taker, that's definitely in my blood, and people have told me to kind of like tone it back a little bit, but it's my style, so I'm gonna do my style for as long as I can. If it's not my style, I don't want to do it.
Just throw one.
I mean, is
there,
that
man. Just
style
one.
more risky? I mean, obviously you're doing more aerial moves and all that, so obviously that'd be more of a risk for you, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. The high flying stuff, the fast paced stuff, that definitely takes more of a toll on your body than just like the mat based kind of wrestlers like Pompano Joe. He's very mat based and such a good technician. But
that's what I would say about it.
I think it's a little bit more risky, but I love the risk-taking style of it because, it could pay off and, it could not. So that's the thrill of it. That's what gets my adrenaline going, was not knowing if what I'm about to do is going to pay off or not. I got to find out.
Were you always an adrenaline junkie?
Oh, yeah. Even as a kid, I was always climbing trees, always trying to see what I could, something that was really tall that I could jump off of, have my friends try to catch me or put a mattress down or, just something I probably shouldn't be doing as a 9-10-year-old. And then even as it never went away. I was always doing stuff I probably shouldn't do, but hey,
I'm just glad they didn't have cell phones with cameras back when I was in school. So. Thank goodness. No evidence.
Showing his age.
We had beepers. That's how old I am.
Yeah.
Like,
You had to find a payphone with a quarter.
Yeah.
You call the number on the little thing.
oh God, yeah,
Is anybody on vacation? Do you have your camcorder with you?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
We're dads. We got dad jokes all day.
Hey, I love a good dad joke, man. I'm a huge fan of dad jokes. I love them.
Brando, hit him with the catchphrase.
What?
Dads may get old, but dad jokes never do. Jeez.
See, there you go. Get old, my mind's going, bro.
I'm putting him through a table at work. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
there-
happening.
What's Cedar?
You ever seen
okay,
a man get choke slammed in a candy factory?
About to happen. It's about to go down Monday.
so I guess that's one of my questions. Like, I guess currently, I mean, you're a obviously very active wrestler. Do you ever get a chance to just sit down and watch any of the major promotion shows? Do you have a preference, or do you kind of just watch a little bit of everything?
I don't have a lot of chances to watch like Monday Night Raw or Dynamite or SmackDown. I usually just have to like read about it or have my friends tell me like what happened. But if it's like a big event like SummerSlam,
Right.
sit down and watch that. If AEW has a big pay-per-view, I'll try to sit down and watch that. So some of the bigger pay-per-views, I will go out of my way to make sure I'm able to watch it. But a Raw or just Dynamite or SmackDown, it's very tough for me to sit down and catch up with it.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was like one of those things like, it's, you're an electrician and the last thing you want to do if you get home from work is, go hang a ceiling fan. So, it's go home and like, the hell with wrestling. I'm done. I hurt everywhere.
Yeah, there's some. I think it was last summer. I was on the road like Tuesday to Saturday, so I only had 2 days off.
Oh.
And when that point came around, if WWE had a pay-per-view on a Sunday, I was like, I can't do this. I need to watch football. I need to watch football, a movie, just anything besides wrestling. And then I'll go through phases where as soon as I get home from wrestling, I'm gonna throw on, a Ricky Steamboat match or with the Chi-Town Rumble or just an old school Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels kind of match. I'll go through my phases like that. So it's like I said, very weird phases I go through.
Did you grow up? You grew up around Cincinnati area?
Yeah. Fairfield, Northern Kentucky, with my mom in Fairfield, and then my grandma in Northern Kentucky is where I spent most of my time.
Okay. Hence why you stayed around here with so far.
Oh,
Stu, I lost a bet.
I apologize for my friend. He's not in uniform.
I'm not a Steelers fan in any way, shape, or form. I lost a bet. The curse was I had to wear a Steelers shirt on this podcast so it could be immortalized for all.
It's just like he says he hates Chris Jericho, but he actually loves Chris
Couch,
Jericho.
don't make me do it.
Man,
I got him locked and loaded.
Steelers fan, not allowed.
I'm not.
All right, good.
No, I bet that my Bengals would beat the tar out of the Steelers on Sunday, and they didn't.
So it's your fault.
So it's my fault. Actually, it's Joe Burrow's appendix's fault, apparently.
Yeah. Can we get that back?
Right. But this will definitely make me feel better, though.
Jericho
There's a long-standing bitter feud between these two, and the love for Eddie Kingston versus the love for Chris Jericho. So it's,
I am the biggest
I'm the Earl
Eddie
Hebner
Kingston
here.
mark on planet Earth. Like me and Brando there watched Revolution together, and I wore my Eddie Kingston shirt. He wore his Le Champion shirt, and Eddie Kingston tapped him out, and it was funny because his wife and 2 daughters back there were asleep, and we were over at his house. We were like not actually saying anything, but he was over there crying in the corner, and I'm like,
oh, okay.
Hashtag dad life.
How many times has stupid fat Kingston won a belt in the AEW? How many times?
Irregardless.
How many times?
Regardless, it doesn't matter. He doesn't need a belt. That dude is so. I'm not getting into this right now. We have our own champion on.
We have company, gentlemen.
Yeah,
we have company.
We don't need to talk about that right now.
You're both going to be going in front of the board.
Oh wow.
You for the shirt and you. Anyhow, but champ, we really appreciate your time. I already have my tickets for the October 1st event. I will be ringside.
Awesome.
And you know, it's a given. You got my support. I'll be cheering you and not that snot Swayze.
Hell yeah. No Steelers and no Swayze. That's
absolutely.
I will attempt to be there, not in a Steelers shirt. I am working that day though, so it's tentative. But I will be there.
And this is October 1st.
Yes.
Mark it down. It's happening.
awesome.
Northern Wrestling Federation's heavyweight champion, Star Rider. Sir, we appreciate you.
Thank you so much, man.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you, bud.
To come back on. This was fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Anytime, dude. Anytime. If we don't talk before then, we'll see you October 1st.
All right, sounds good, man.
Absolutely.
See you, buddy.
Bye.
All right, guys.
Rock and roll.
That was awesome.
It was awesome. I was like, oh my God, a real professional.
This is a podcast!
Yeah.
Oh my God!
I was like,